Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group gonna be present about complementary currency in social environment, economic and political system. Before we start, I'm gonna introduce our group member, which is FARISAH Saadiah binti Halim Saadi, Noorbiah Hadirah binti Ruslan, Noor Syahirah binti Ludin, and Mohamed ZAID bin Mohamed Noor. This presentation gonna include 6 things: introduction, history, rules, effects, advantages, disadvantages of complementary currency, and lastly, conclusion. So without wasting our time, we will begin with the first presenter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARISAH Saadiah binti Halim Saadi and I will present the introduction. Firstly, a complementary currency is any currency that is not a national currency but accepted for use in specific circumstances in a country. A complementary currency is created by private persons, advocacy group or government regulatory authorities to create parallel marketplaces for certain commodities and services or within geographical region. Jadi complementary currency ni adalah apa-apa mata wang yang bukan mata wang kebangsaan tetapi diterima untuk digunakan dalam keadaan yang istimewa dalam sesebuah negara. Complementary currency ini juga dikenali sebagai commodity currency atau local currency. The goal of this currency to regulate the economy or achieve a particular social, environmental or political purpose. Mostly, complementary currency have more than one purpose. Then, complementary currency usually not legal tender and used based on the agreement between the parties who are exchanging the currency. It consists of physical script, tokens or accounting entries which can be used as money substitute for transactions among those who agree to accept and use the currency. But what is the legal tender? Legal tender is a money that legally valid for the payment of debts and must be accepted for that purpose when offered. Jadi complementary currency ni bukan legal tender dan ia digunakan berdasarkan persetujuan antara dua parti yang saling bertukar mata wang. Lastly, complementary currencies can also be based on time or schemes, effectively formalizing a barter system or channeling commodity efforts to an area of high need.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Noor Syahirah binti Ludin. So now I will continue on history of complementary currency. Actually, it is important for us to know about our history that was begin in this world. So, kita perlu tahulah kenapa benda tu berlaku, kenapa benda tu terwujudnya currency tu. And the most alternative currency has been founded throughout history where there is a perceived shortage of stable currency. Typically, due to war or trade recession. Complementary currency emerged in late 19th and early 20th century. According to Claire Scales on 2016, during the American Civil War, special government issues of greenbacks were issued as were Bradbury Treasury notes and great scale issued by the United Kingdom and Germany, respectively during the First World War. Benda ni berlaku sebabkan official currency was in short supply or not value sebagai medium pertukaran sebab time tu berlakunya inflasi dan isu-isu lain. So, additional currency were created to fulfill the demand. Not only that, in small communities, complementary were also created. Timberlake on 1987 said that both gold and lumbering enterprises had to be organized in the vicinity of the contributing resources and they were typically found in isolated areas with population numbers significantly distant from commercial center. Sebab time tu business tu dia kekurangan infrastruktur, no crash, no schools, no residents, no utilities, no banks or financial intermediaries dekat kawasan yang terpencil. So, the high startup cost and the ongoing uncertainty of dealing with low-income communities that might be there today and gone tomorrow discourage specialized industries. As a result, the introduction complementary currency is facilitate exchange and production. So, there are three types of complementary currencies in general. So, the first is a token currency, which is private money that refers directly to a specific good. During the 19th century, particularly during the Civil War, the token currency issued by transportation companies, barges, ferries, toll road companies, and municipal enterprises is probably the most verifiable of uncounted monies. The second example is script money, a localized medium of exchange that can be redeemed for a variety of goods and services rather than just one. As a result, script money ni function as a medium exchange alongside the official currency. Ada satu contoh yang berlaku dekat Arkansas di United States pada tahun 1847 dekat Ozark Iron Companies that they offers to pay the barrel in merchandise at cash prices. But script issued by coal and lumber companies were typically redeemable only at the local store that issued by the script. So, script's purpose ni adalah untuk serve as a medium exchange between paydays. When payday roll around the store on a total, the amount of script paid by the coal worker and deducted it from his pay. Aside from the common occurrence of script, several Jesus stamp script gave the complementary currency as a new face. Dan di samping itu juga terdapat pelbagai jenis mata wang complementary ini seperti credit currency. So, as a result, penggunaan complementary currency ni mendapat sambutan yang banyaklah pada abad yang ke-20. So, an occurrence that needs to be investigated further. So, I will pass to the next presenter.
Once again, my name is Noorbiah Hadirah Binti Ruslan, and I'm gonna explain in general about the rules of complementary currency. As you may heard from previous presenter, complementary currency are created for use in a specific basis. So this part is gonna be about how does complementary currency rules based on three different aspects, which are social, economic, and political. We look from the social aspect. So the first one is to ensure the community has equal access in all forms. In order to achieve that, the public administration responsible to create a decent job that allows all people in the society. All means either man, woman, disabled person, or even the poor are entitled. So the job mentioned is a job that uses complementary currency as an exchange for the payment. So the payment is essential for society to obtain goods and services. It also helps to reduce their exposure to climate-related extreme events like natural disaster. This shows that complementary currency not only helping living standard, but also for the human right. So the next point is build inclusive social network. It strengthens social relation, responsibility, and trust among economic and social in territory. And it also helps to generate friendship and boost personal confidence to be socially inclusive for the individual involved. Move to the economic aspect. The first point is promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth. So for those who are getting their payment or part of their payment through complementary currency, can use that to do the saving and expenses. So those things are generated within that territory and used for covering expenditure and strengthening the finance local investment, and also help to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Next point, as an access to other businesses and industries, it expands access to banking, financial, and insurance service for all. It also plays an important credit role in financing investment with a high impact for a local market. Plus, complementary currency also emphasizing affordable and equitable access for all types of industries. And last, political aspect. When we heard the word politic, we must start about government. However, it also defines authorities and organization. So the first point is to promote and apply non-discriminatory laws and policies. By ensuring the participation from all levels of the society as the representative on decision making, which can build a social consensus on the use, management, and evaluation of this complementary currency. It also helps to empower the most vulnerable segment of the population. Next point, it developed a sustainable urban environment by contribute to strengthening the monetary system through duality and complementarity to promote resilience in regions. Complementary currency also functioning as an instrument to improve the acquisition capacity of the population by making more financial resources available.
My name is Muhammad ZAID bin Mohamed Noor. I will explain the effect of complementary currency according to social, economy and political aspect. Different complementary currency will be provided for each aspect. First of all, social aspect. The case is Swiss Veer. Swiss is Switzerland. Veer. Veer came from the word Wirtschaftsring. It means business circle. The word used is wir and not ich because it symbolizes community. It contains the Swiss ideal, which is to hold together as a community and protect interests of individual. So the word highlighted here is community. Wir cooperative business founded in 1934 in Zurich. It is motivated by the economic recession and also the doctrine of interest-free money, which is introduced by a Germany-Argentine entrepreneur, Silvio Gesell. Gesell's theory is a reaction to the Argentine economic crisis of the 1880s. It is popular during the Great Depression era in the German-speaking and Scandinavian countries. So, this theory is to create a local currency and encourage its circulation actively. The evolution of beer consists of three phases: pioneer phase, second phase, final phase. In the pioneer phase, different experiments are being conducted. This is for the long-term entrepreneurial development in Switzerland. In the second phase, beer experienced near constant growth. This is due to the experiments conducted earlier. And in the final phase, several conceptual and structural modifications to the model lead to the creation of more diversified services. How do the Swiss beer works? It works when several Swiss entrepreneurs came together to provide each other with credit. It will backed by the collateral such as building deeds or member cash deposits. As for today, SME that participate in VIR will accept this currency as a payment for goods and services. And VIR Bank has also entered the overall Swiss banking system, which offers saving accounts, loans, and so on. However, their focus remains on SMEs. Therefore, the work toward member and community and also the strengthening social relations among SMEs can be achieved by practicing this complementary currency in Switzerland. The effect of complementary currency according to economic aspect. The case is Argentine truc. In Argentina, complementary currency were created after the collapse of the country's economy in the late 1990s. The aim is to stimulate the local economy activity. In 2002, it involved 10% of the country's population. The historical development of complementary currency started with the bonds in issuance in Salta. It began to issue it in 1985. It also for the local circulation. By the end of 1991, 60% of the circulation in this province was based on this regional currency. Second, Club de Truc, Siti in Buenos Aires. It means, Club de Truc means barter or trade. It was created in 1995. Such barter system was then replicated across the country. An example of this currency is Credito. It approximately being used by 2.5 million users in between 2001 and 2003. It contributes to the national system called Red de Truc Barter Network. In 1996, some 20 cities were operating in the area. In 1998, it increased to 150 cities throughout the country, with approximately 80 to 100,000 people in various goods and services. According to Gomez and Helmsing, Truc system was welcoming 5,000 new participants per day during its peaks. Then, the distribution and the forgery of credit vouchers was difficult to control. It led to the loss of appeal and collapse of the system. Finally, the local currency system closed by hundreds after June 2002, and a year later, the RT was reduced to 10% of what it once was. So, why the system collapsed? First, growing distrust of the Truc system, and in addition, the recovery of the national economy also leads to the collapse of the system. So now, Truc has not disappeared. The conclusion are, these complementary currency managed to reduce the negative impact of the economic restructuring, but it does not help the poor and unemployed to de-link from the regular economy, but it improved their employability and the skills of the local actors. Effect of complementary currency towards political aspect. The case here is Japanese Eco Money Network. According to Bernard Leiter, since 1995, the number of experiments with complementary currencies has exploded, and certain pioneering activities were already in existence in 1970s. So, a little bit info of Ecomanis. It was founded by Toshiharu Kato in the late of 1990s. He was a director of the Service Industries Division of the Ministry of Economics, Trade and Industry during 1990s. He spent 3 years to study two forms of high-tech development models in the United States. First, Route 128. Second, Silicon Valley. Upon his return to Japan, he introduced a new concept of regional currencies, which he called Eco Money. The aim is to push the regional development strategy. So, from this point, we knew that it involved the political aspect and has effect on it. Because political is not only on the federal government or state government. It also includes the district or even a smaller community administration. According to Okuno, in 1998, the EcoMoney Network was founded. In 1999, the experiment grew to 10 from 4 initial projects, and in 2003, 25 had been implemented by 55 different organizations across the country. The examples of complementary currency in this network are Peanuts in Chiba and Ekoyama Card in Shiga. Peanuts in Chiba. Peanuts is the regional currency in Chiba. It managed by the non-profit organizations, namely Chiba Community Support Center. 1 peanut is equivalent to 1 yen, and 1 hour of works is equivalent to 100 peanuts to 1,000 peanuts for some job or work. And the transaction records contain plus and minus. This is stated on the individual record sheet. It is quite similar to the debit and credit on our bank statement. Next, Ekoyama card in Shiga. This involves the Yasucho community in Shiga, and the aim of the card issuance is to help protect the local forest and raise environmental awareness. So, the credit gained from their work to preserve the nature can be used in the local stores and businesses. So, from here, as conclusion, it managed to enhance the community integrity, foster public participation, create a sustainable economic environment, and maintain a viable natural environment. So, as a conclusion, these three aspects, political, economic, and social, it cannot be separated from each other. It will always related to each other.
This is the examples of complementary currency, which is Berkshires in US, Calgary dollar in Canada, Bristol pound in UK, and time credit in UK. Then I will present the advantages of complementary currency. Firstly, stimulated the local economy. By creating a new complementary currency, the total amount of money in local economy increased. The complementary currency will allow the members of the economy to purchase or leverage resources which they could not purchase before with national currencies. Iaitu dengan wujudnya complementary currency, jumlah duit dalam ekonomi lokal akan meningkat. Kesannya, orang-orang dapat menggunakan complementary currency ni untuk membeli barang-barang yang mereka tak dapat beli sebelum ni menggunakan national currency. Next point, while business owner may lose money on some purchases due to the currency discount, they gain with repeat businesses. The effect has been to save some companies from closing and perhaps even stall the growth of big bulk retailers. By leveraging a complementary currency, local business development is encouraged. Jadi dengan wujudnya complementary currency ni, business owner ni dapat mengekalkan perniagaan mereka dan dapat menyelamatkan syarikat mereka daripada bankrupt. Hasilnya bila business owner ni tak bankrupt, local business development akan semakin meningkat. Secondly, stimulate the money supply in local community. Complementary currency addresses a failure within the existing monetary system, such as the issues of seasonal shortage in money supply. Okey, jadi complementary currency ni banyak menyelesaikan masalah dalam krisis-krisis kewangan ataupun atau sebagainya. Antara krisis yang diselesaikan oleh complementary currency adalah seperti isu kekurangan bermusim bekalan wang. Seasonal liquidity presents especially in rural area with majority of population employed rely on small scale farming as their primary income. The poor who affected by seasonal income will forced to cut their food intake as well as decreasing their liquidity. Okay, jadi dalam seasonal liquidity, maksudnya kecairan bermusim ni selalunya berlaku dekat kawasan-kawasan terpencil yang majoriti penduduknya menjalankan aktiviti agriculture. Sebab kita tahu yang kalau aktiviti agriculture ni ada musim menuai dan dia ikut musim-musim dia. Contoh kalau musim menuai, maka penduduk tu dapat meningkatkan pendapatan mereka. Tapi kalau musim biasa, mereka mengalami kekurangan wang sebab tak ada pendapatan. So, a dual currency system appear with which some transactions are fulfilled in commodity currency and others in national currency. If some transactions which are prevented by insufficient liquidity of the national currency, it can be fulfilled with complementary currency. This can increase sale and consumption. Jadi dengan wujudnya a dual currency system yang mana boleh menjalankan complementary currency dan national currency, maka ia dapat menangani isu kekurangan bekalan wang secara bermusim. Sebab contohnya kalau penduduk tu kekurangan national currency, maka mereka boleh gunakan complementary currency sebagai ganti kepada bekalan wang yang kurang tersebut. Next, help restoring community, improve public health and social assistance. Complementary currency had many purposes, and the implementation of complementary currency based on their purpose. Some have come into being for social reason or for environmental one. As example of complementary currency for social reasons such as time credit and time banking. Okay, what is time credit and time banking? Time credit, the application is for every hour they give to a time credit organization, they receive one printed time credit. The member can spend their time credit on an hour activity at a participating venue. Maksudnya setiap sejam mereka berikan pada time credit organisation. Maksudnya macam setiap sejam mereka menjalankan volunteer ataupun membantu orang lain, mereka akan dapat satu printed time credit. Satu printed time credit ini mereka dapat gunakan contohnya 1 jam ke gym ataupun ke power gum. Then time banking. Time banking based on the labor theory of value. Time banking is a system of bartering various services for one another using work time as a unit of account. Maksud time banking ni macam sistem barter tapi gunakan masa. Misalnya Abu ni dia memotong rumput di rumah Ali selama sejam, maka Ali kena balas balik, contohnya repair rumah Abu ni selama sejam pula. Okay, then public health guidance promotes community engaged approaches, encouraging social cohesion and social contract, mobilizing local asset and building social capital with knock-on effect to health, well-being and economy resilient. Jadi kalau complement currency yang melibatkan komuniti ni dapat menggalakkan social cohesion, social contact dan sebagainya. Next point, people gain a sense of purpose and feel that they will make a positive contribution to community, which increase their life satisfaction and improve their mental health. They become more physically active and more socially connect. Complementary currency generally strengthen the community as people start to recognize the skills and abilities of other members of community. Jadi kesannya complementary currency seperti time banking dan time credit ni buatkan kesan yang baik kepada orang. Contohnya dapat memperbaiki kesihatan mental mereka dan memperbaiki kesihatan fizikal mereka. Then I will present the disadvantages of complementary currency. As we know, every advantages will have their disadvantages. So the first disadvantages of complementary currency is the challenge that achieving the acceptance present. As we know, the key characteristic of any is that it functions as a generally accepted medium of exchange. However, community currency don't win general acceptance locally, won't function as well as money. In a modern interconnect economy where people commonly travel and do business with a diverse array of business inside and outside their local area, commodity currency can take on the full function of money. Kita kalau tengok pada zaman moden, orang dah tak buat bisnes dalam satu tempat, tapi mereka akan menjalankan bisnes di dalam satu tempat dan di luar. Maka complement currency ni dia tak dapat jalankan fungsi dia, sebab complementary currency ni hanya fokus pada tempat yang tertentu. Next, complementary currency concern involve only low numbers of user and small volume of activity. Kebanyakannya complementary currency-nya ahli yang menggunakannya hanyalah sedikit. Then most of the complementary currency have not been recognized by official monetary institution, whether private or public. They are not officially convertible into private or public currencies. As an effect, most of the complementary currency are not subject to supervision and regulation by the central bank of their respective countries. Also, the complementary lack of governmental insurance. National governments do not back complementary currency like they do with conventional currency. Maka kebanyakan complementary currency ni tak dikenali oleh bank negara ataupun badan-badan yang besar. Mereka juga are not subject to supervision and regulatory of central bank. Jadi kalau apa-apa jadi dekat complementary currency ni, kerajaan takkan membuat jaminan. The second disadvantages of complementary currency is limited purchasing power in market space. The complementary currency had a territorial limit which they can be used only in a specific geographical area. They also limit to a particular commodity the circulation. The value of the currency have to be validated by voluntary adherent of the system. Jadi complementary currency ni ada limitnya, iaitu hanya boleh digunakan dalam keadaan geografi tertentu sahaja. Dan complementary currency itu hanya limit dalam sesebuah komuniti. Nilai mata wang dia juga limit dalam sesebuah komuniti tersebut. Next, certain currencies used for the purpose of specific goods and service can only be used by certain categories of the population. For example, in France, with local currency the abilis. Because the application of abilis selected on criteria such as organic food, renewable energy and promotion of the sustainability. Contohnya mata wang di abilis di Perancis digunakan hanya untuk seperti makanan organik, tenaga boleh diperbaharui dan produk kita semula sahaja. Maksudnya complementary currency ni dia tak boleh digunakan pada semua barangan dan servis, tapi hanya tertentu sahaja. Then most of the complementary currency in circulation are not convertible into official currency. Entry into the local system from nationwide is possible, but converting one currency into others but exit from the system is not always possible. Antara masalah complementary currency ni adalah mereka ni susah untuk ditukarkan kepada national currency. Kalau nak tukarkan dari national currency kepada complementary currency itu agak mudah, tapi kalau nak tukarkan complementary currency kepada national currency agak susah, dan seorang tu perlu bayar lebih kalau nak tukarkan dari complementary currency ke national currency. Last point is limited liberatory power in time. Some complementary currency have time limit to their validity. The money rusts when its face value decrease regularly in 3 to 6 months and can be restored only by adding complement. Complementary currency is seen as transitional, which appear during periods of monetary crisis or liquidity shortage and disappearing as soon as the monetary situation improves. It can only increase economic activity temporarily. Then, complementary currency had an overhead expense, challenge regulating relative prices of different services, and the difficulty of maintaining effective delivery with the wider money economy. As example, abilis in France. Mata wang abilis dekat France ni, mereka nilai face value dia akan berkurang dalam 3 hingga 6 bulan. Tapi kalau kita nak restore balik, kita kena tambah balik complement, kena bayar lagi. Kalau abilis ni, dia akan hilang 2% daripada nilai dia. Complementary currency juga selalunya akan muncul kalau macam tempoh kesukaran, contohnya macam monetary crisis or financial crisis. Tapi lepas semua tu dah elok, dah stabil, maka complementary currency dah tak digunakan, akan gunakan mata wang kebangsaan yang biasa, contoh euro, RM ataupun dolar. That's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you to FARISAH. So now I will continue on suggestion. And lastly is conclusion. So first, we can diversify the functions and the roles of money. Complementary currency system will reduce or lower relations between communities to purely commercial interaction. Complementary currency can be used to carry out non-commercial functions such as environmental conservation, the welfare of the elderly, education, and many other social functions. Second, creating an free interest economic system. Complementary currency can be a platform for free interest transaction and financing. Third, encourage new values. It affects the relationship that exists between the users of the money. Riba and money that was limited in the conventional currency system encourage negative values that promote unhealthy relationships and competition. Complementary currency can improve due values such as increase a spirit of cooperation and mutual giving. Fourth, helping in sustainable and resilient economic development. So the single and centralized currency system make it very efficient. Yet a single system that is too efficient does not have high durability. Complementary currency system or communities can create a diversity of currency system that support each other. This can help an economy to be more resilient, especially in times of crisis. The frequent financial crises from time to time increase the interest and awareness of the people around the world to implement reforms to the conventional currency system. The complementary currency system has wide potential towards the development of a currency system that prioritizes social values over commercial values and is able to accommodate the weakness inherent in the conventional system. In addition, the introduction and widespread use of such currency poses some interesting challenges to future national governments. So that's all from us. Thank you.